Good morning, beautiful men and women of the world. I am your favorite, fun, young, 17-year-old charismatic talk show host, Chris Rotondo.
Okay, Chris. All right, whatever. And it's your boy, your favorite ginger 19-year-old college student podcaster, Tom Grady. And welcome to the Breakfast Nook.
Yes, second
Week
edition.
2.
Glad to be here.
Dude, I'm so excited. And this week, big week. Big week in everything.
We got some heaters, man. We got some heaters for sure. Tom, let's start off on a light note. How has your week been? We've been good?
Not bad. I got back to going to work. COVID test negative. We're vibing. We're living our best life out here.
Sick. Love to see it.
Just kind of trying to get into 2021 with the best way possible. We're figuring out things with college, going back and all that. But, the week was good. Can't complain. Chris, what about you, man?
Been chilling, just been kind of getting my stuff done. Been focusing a lot on myself, doing some mental health things, and waiting to hear back from some schools. All I've heard back from was from Temple so far. Still waiting on Hofstra.
Oh, yeah.
It's very much still in the options.
Absolutely.
Other than that, been chilling,
Great. I mean, listen, that's the best type of life that you can live.
Exactly. No stress, Well, of course there's stress, but
of course.
No major stress, so we're chilling.
Good. That's all we could ask for.
Of course. All right.
Speaking of this week, let's get right into it.
Let's get right into the week in review. Our first story, Devonta Smith is the first receiver to win the Heisman since 1991. How are we feeling? Do you think he deserved it?
Bro, I mean, listen. 12 games this year, over 1,600 yards. I mean, watching him play Notre Dame last week, he ran in a straight line and the Notre Dame defense couldn't even touch him. So, I mean, with the talent, he was so quick. He's got glue on his hands. He is honestly something to admire with Alabama. And I'm excited to see where he goes in the draft. I'm assuming he's going to be what the NBA people call a lottery pick. I definitely think he's going to go in the top 10. 20 touchdowns in 12 games
that is manhandling college football.
Yeah. Such a wide receiver core that Alabama has with Nick Saban and Mac Jones at the helm. Having a talent with over 20 touchdowns is crazy. So
yeah,
he definitely deserved these honors.
100%. I believe that he did deserve it. Some people get snubbed over 4 years. I believe that this year just was not Trevor's year. I'm a big Trevor Lawrence guy. You know that. Big advocate for Trevor Lawrence. He's a great quarterback, but Devonta Smith put on a show that just couldn't be ignored. He put up 20 touchdowns. Those are big man stats.
Dude, that's NFL type caliber right there.
Yeah, but that's 20 in 12 games. Do you average over – what's the stat on that?
What?
20 touchdowns in 12 games. That's 1.3 touchdowns per game.
Some of those, he was incredible.
He was Granted, he had Mac Jones feeding him, but good. Right. That's just good football.
Exactly.
Having an air attack like that, quarterback in the NFL. Yeah.
Having an air attack like that with Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide is ridiculous. They've always had great receivers come out of Alabama. There was a receiving core picture. I don't remember exactly who was in it, but it was just looking at the names on that, the back of their jerseys. It was crazy to look at where they are now in the NFL.
Yeah.
Every year, obviously Alabama quarterbacks aren't the greatest. Tua right now is okay.
He's all right. Jalen Hurts, you can argue.
Jalen Hurts as well, yeah. But, we'll get into that later about Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. But
yeah, we will.
As of right now, the only thing that's really coming out of Bama is great offensive caliber players as the wide receivers and the running backs. Derrick Henry, look at where he is. He's insane.
Literal beast. 45th pick, let me remind you.
Yeah, look, he's leading the Titans as a 7-footer. The guy is ginormous.
He's huge.
All right. Speaking of the Eagles now, Jalen Hurts gets benched.
This gets me heated, man. Every time I've talked about this over the past week, I've wanted to punch a wall very hard.
Listen, I know I said last week that the Giants would take a fat L against the Cowboys, but I'm kind of happy that Okay, listen. Hey, we
Stank.
all took an L
That's true.
when
Respectively.
the Eagles literally fell out of the air because of the Washington football team. I mean, watching that game was honestly something else because I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, if the Eagles win, the Giants are going to the playoffs, it would almost blew my mind right then and there. Like just having the thought that if the Eagles won, that the blue and red team from New York is going to the playoffs.
The playoff football for the New York Giants.
Sorry, not New York. They're from Jersey. The real blue and red
the
football
Jersey
team
Giants
is from Buffalo. But,
that's okay. All right. Okay. That's good.
But listen, what happened in that game? What was Doug Peterson thinking?
I'm thinking it was a purpose tank, because they don't like the Giants. Well, obviously there's got to be some bigger reasoning behind it because it's football, it's a professional sport.
I mean, you watch the other guy come in. I don't even know his name.
Nate Sudfeld? Nate
Sudfeld.
He sucks.
Bro, every time he touched the ball, it looked like he was like trying to fumble around with slime in his hands.
Yeah, what's it called? He the first play he came in, he threw an interception. And then I think the next time he touched the ball, he fumbled. Which looks a little fishy to me. I have a gut feeling that Doug Peterson sent him in and said, "You gotta fuck up this game real bad."
Yeah, and then he's been with the team for a while, so he deserves some playing time. This isn't senior day for college football.
Yeah,
this is an NFL playoff type of game.
Yeah, it's the matter of if one team or another makes the playoffs, and you just let the team that you're playing against win and then make the playoffs because of it. It had me heated. It was bad. It was bad in my house when Nate Sudfeld went in, because I was watching the game, because I was like, Eagles need to win, and then the Giants make the playoffs. How often does that happen? Rarely. So I was watching, and I was like, this could be good. Jalen Hurts just scored. It was like 17-14. This game's close. It's a one-possession game.
Right.
And he takes out Jalen Hurts. And I was like, what's he doing?
But what did he do wrong?
Nothing. You saw on in the coach's area.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts was mouthing. He said something like, "Oh, I did what I could. I did my part. I scored. What the fuck?" He was pissed.
Yeah.
He was pissed. And a couple of Eagles players were really pissed at Doug Peterson because they just wanted to play. They wanted to win.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you go into a football game wanting to win the game. You don't want to go out there and lose the game. Look at the Jets. I mean, you would think they would want to lose the game and get the first overall pick, but they went out there to win, and they won 2 games in the end.
They won 2. That's all good. Good on that.
In the Eagles' case, you want to put your best foot forward to have a winning opportunity, and to do that, you leave Jalen Hurts in the game. And to be honest,
they had the winning opportunity, and they just threw it out the window.
I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. I was like, this is truly the tank of the year. And you would think the Jets would do it.
They just wasted one of Jalen Hurts' years, I feel.
Yeah, I mean,
behind Carson Wentz.
Listen, that quarterback battle next year, though, is going to be great. If Carson Wentz stays with the team.
I don't have high hopes.
But I don't either.
Speaking of quarterbacks' years being wasted, I want to shift right into our next story. Get Deshaun Watson out of Houston now.
I repeat. Get Deshaun Watson out of being a Houston Texan. It is crazy what happened this year.
His career is being wasted away. 4-12. The Texans are 4-12, and he is first in yards. Deshaun Watson is first out of every NFL quarterback, with Brandon Cooks as his number 1. Cooks and Will Fuller for 11 games. And Randall Cobb, and that's what he does. First in yards.
4,000 yards. I mean, listen, that's good for any quarterback who has a great wide receiver core. I mean, you look at Patrick Mahomes, you look at Aaron Rodgers. They all have great receivers that can at least go up there and catch the ball. I mean, we got third strings coming in because half of the team was injured and old as shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And Deshaun Watson was on the sideline. I mean, listen, 33 touchdowns in 17 games. That's great. That's almost 2 touchdowns a game. But
I think he was tied 7.
He was tied 7th in the whole league. He had a 70.2% completion percentage.
Yeah,
I mean, he was honestly on the money most of the time, but he had to go and watch the defense just let up, literally walk through. Here, you want to go to the touchdown? You want to go to the end zone? Here you go.
Yeah, there you go. Have a nice. It's sad. You even saw. Did you see what NFL Films posted?
with JJ
JJ
Watt.
Watt. Yeah, JJ Watt is talking. He's talking to a visually upset Deshaun Watson, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm sorry. Like we wasted one of your years."
Yeah.
Which I mean, I feel like they did. I think they need to get him out of Houston. I don't
I mean,
know. I think he's voicing currently asking for a trade, and I would.
I don't blame him.
Where could you see him heading?
That's a really good question. I mean, it would be. I mean, there are a lot of options right now in the AFC East. I mean, you look at the Jets; they are desperate for a top-tier quarterback because they don't have Sam Darnold. They lost their number 1 overall pick. I don't really see them going with Justin Fields. They're probably going to look for something else.
I could
And
see them going for alignment on the draft.
yeah, they need something that's going to protect their quarterback that they eventually get. And I could see possibly Deshaun ending up in the jet green, but you could also probably maybe, I don't know, see him heading over to New England.
I think he's going to go to a winning team. I don't know. I don't think he's going to go to the Jets because his problem right now is he's not winning.
Right.
So I could see him going to a top team with a not so top quarterback.
Right.
Like the Patriots. Patriots aren't really in a winning phase either.
Yeah.
You would have to really take a good look and see, because Deshaun Watson's beating out any quarterback. Realistically,
I agree.
Almost any.
I mean, look at his stats this year, his stats last year, the way he brought the Texans into the playoffs last year. It's enough to say, listen, this guy is here and he's a dominant force at right behind the center position. Like he is something else. And you watched him in Clemson, you watched him move up the ranks in the NFL. And now he's on a team that's just struggling. And even JJ Watt, not even just the little talk that he had with Deshaun, his post-game interview one game, he was berate. He was absolutely tired and sick and tired of seeing people come in and just lose. They have that losing mentality, and he was sick and tired of seeing that. And
you gotta come in and want to win, man. That's what makes the game. If
right.
you go in and you tank, the game is no longer fun.
Right.
And it's no longer fun for your fans, and that's what you should care about. That should be one of your number one priorities. You really shouldn't be caring about chasing a check or whatever. You gotta play for the fans, man. And let's.
The Texans really didn't do anything.
Speaking of fans, this is off sports now. We're going off sports for a little bit.
Yeah.
Lots of fans are saddened, myself included, in the fact that Kim Ye is over. Kim and Kanye. Kanye has been one of my favorite artists of all time. As I've been on this earth, I love Kanye. I love his music. He's a little crazy in the head, but it doesn't change the fact that he makes good tunes.
Right.
Him and Kim are done.
And forget just being done. The affair.
Yeah, he wants nothing to do. He wants nothing to do with the Kardashians anymore. And there are rumors that he was messing around with Jeffree Star.
YouTube makeup tutorial sensation, Jeffree Star.
Wow.
Hey, good morning, Kanye.
Shut the fuck up. Bro, I am so beyond myself with the fact that Kanye gave up one of the most beautiful women on the face of the earth to go to Jeffree Star.
I don't know if it's real.
I don't want to believe it.
I can't buy it.
There's no way. I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. Kanye has a lot of stuff going on with his head and his mental health, but I don't think him, switching up the whole on the team here. I mean,
I don't know, man. I don't buy it. I feel like I think it was put together by the media, but that's not my business.
They were even saying like the next day, like after this whole like, oh, she doesn't have a ring on, divorce rumors, yada yada yada. The next day she's seen with her ring back on. So it's like it's up in the air right now.
It's never been this close. Obviously, there's been times where people have questioned it, and it's been up in the air. Like not too long ago, I think a couple months ago, it was like that because Kanye went into like a spiral of bipolar stuff. He was not doing well.
I mean, during his presidential campaign, if you could even call it a campaign.
Sorry excuse for a campaign.
He was in the worst spot. I mean, Kim said he was in the worst spot of his life.
Understood. It's stressful running for president. But I feel I don't think that he was having an affair. But what I do know is that he wants nothing to do with the Kardashians ever again.
I agree.
So
But keep it in the music. Keep it in the music. Moving on to the next topic. Now you probably a little more know about this than I do because I'm not that big into country. However, I do have my specific little tastes. But Morgan Wallen drops a double album,
Yes, he
30
has.
songs over an hour long. He's looking
Hmm.
like a hip hop sensation right now. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I haven't listened to it yet, but I am a
right.
big advocate for Morgan Wallen, like his music. I'm a pretty big country guy. For those who don't know, I'm big on alternative and rap and all that, but I like country too. It's real good to listen to in the summer and all that. And
Of course, it's got that good feeling.
yeah, of course, love it. And yeah, I haven't gotten to listen to this yet, but oh, I sounded illiterate there. But yeah, I haven't gotten to listen to it yet, but I'm sure to get on it because it looks good. And a couple of my girlfriends who have listened to it already have said, yeah, they've said that. Yeah, all of my women, they
Female
said that
counterparts.
they liked it and they cried, but that's just women activity. So
Oh man,
yeah,
we are canceled after this one. But
yeah,
no, I
no
mean,
sir.
my ex-roommate Sal, he was saying that he was listening to it. He's now gone into country. I mean, my guy, this Italian man, this 6'2" gigantic behemoth
Big
who's
dude.
getting absolutely yoked.
Ah,
He's listening to country now, got a nice flow going on, almost like a mullet. He said he don't miss.
he's
Morgan
good.
Wallen don't miss.
He's good, man. I'm telling you, he's good.
Listen, I might have to, dabble with some country here and there.
Take a
I can
listen,
hear that
man.
southern draw coming out of me, but
Ah.
you never know. You never know.
All right. So I think it's only fair that we in the next section.
Some
The
of the hard hitters
uh,
of this past week.
let's get into it.
As you know, this past Wednesday, there was an attack on the Capitol building by a lot of protesters. They stormed the Capitol building in looks to stop the electoral vote and to get the Senate to cancel and stop everything that they're doing. It was honestly one of the most shocking days of American history during my lifetime. I was alive during 9/11, but I wasn't old enough to comprehend what had happened. Obviously, I was 6 months old. So seeing something like this on American soil was definitely, it took a toll. And it was honestly quite crazy to watch the news during that whole day. Seeing people just go through the doors and be in the Senate hall, sit in the desks, guy kicking up his feet on Nancy Pelosi's desk, a guy at Mike Pence's desk in the Senate hall. It was honestly, truly one of the most craziest days I've ever witnessed. And it's definitely something that was documented very well through many media organizations. And to be honest, it will take a toll on what comes in the future, I believe. A lot of Americans are in a really rough spot. Either you're a far left or a far right, and you can't, I mean, everyone's button heads. And it is truly something that this nation needs to move on and come together with now. I mean, it's truly, this is such a scary moment in our lives.
I agree.
And I think that we need to step up, become one again, be unified, United States. There's a reason why we're called United, and we
Very
need
true.
to definitely step up as a community and a nation to fix what is going on.
Of course. I can't help but agree. I'm glad that I get to host this show with somebody who is as down the middle as I am. I feel that violence, that's very like what happened was very uncondoned. Um, that's not something you do, storming the Capitol. The pictures that I saw were very eye-opening into, what the far right was really doing. They were, and that's not all Republicans. That's one group of people. Those are very radical extremists. And to look at those pictures as a proud American citizen, it hurt. You see that the one picture of the guy, he's like, and he's got like the podium on his shoulder.
Yeah. Yep.
That's crazy. That was crazy for me to see. To look at the pictures of the aftermath, not even when there's people in there, was mind-boggling. And the fact that enforcement just let them walk in
Right.
was a lot to me. But it's behind us now. All we can do is recuperate as a nation and look to just. I wouldn't want to say forget it ever happened, but let's not have something like that happen again. And
Right.
we'll look to rebound from that.
I mean, right now, you look at what's going on, and it is probably one of the most scariest times in the recent American history on American soil.
Agreed.
You have an inauguration coming up. You have a president who doesn't want to go to that inauguration. You have people in turmoil looking at so many different outlets, trying to get their voice out there, trying to do whatever they can to have their thoughts put out there.
And it's all in the midst of a global pandemic.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it, but you look at the people that was on Capitol Hill yesterday, no one was wearing a mask. I mean,
Yep.
There was a handful, and you would look at them and you're like, you have this COVID stuff going on. And
gotta be careful.
It was like COVID was on the back burner of what was happening.
Yeah.
It was honestly,
crazy.
Truly the craziest thing I've witnessed with my own two eyes live.
Yeah. I could have waken up. If I woke up that morning and you told me before it happened that people were going to rush the Capitol, I would have laughed in your face.
Yeah.
I was watching the news right when it started, and I was like, wow. It was a real eye-opening experience, for sure. But I'm sure we've done it before. We can combine as one nation and just look past that.
Right. And we have to grow from this. We have to definitely understand as Americans what is right and what is wrong here. And I think no matter who you are, I mean, you looked at everyone's tweets yesterday, Republicans, Democrats, Independent, whoever you are, right? We all looked at yesterday and saying it was un-American, or not yesterday, Wednesday, it was un-American.
Agreed.
So I think we need to, as a nation, move on and recuperate, heal, and try to find peace in all of this mayhem.
Very true. Very true. Couldn't have said it better myself.
But to get away from politics, to get away from, let's go back. Let's kind of keep, let's move on to back to sports a little bit here. Your guy, your Clemson long-haired freak, as I called him last week, is moving to the NFL draft. He is declared. He is a junior right now in Clemson. He could have stayed for one more year, but he is declared for the NFL draft. Chris, your take.
Who?
Your take. What's your take?
No, I'm messing. Trevor Lawrence, my orange-haired freak, my boy. Obviously, he's the contentious number one pick. The Jaguars would be literal cokeheads for not taking him. So yeah, I have no doubt that Jacksonville's going to go with him because, Minshew Mania has kind of had his time, and it's time to say goodbye for the best quarterback in college football history. And yeah, other than that, I'm glad that he's committed. When the Jets had the number one pick, I wasn't sure if he was going to. Honestly, I wholeheartedly thought that he was going to stay for another year if the Jets had the number one pick.
I agree.
I'm glad I get to see him in the league earlier at a younger age and see how he goes with the Jacksonville line.
I mean, I was, again, we talked about this last week. It was shocking to watch the Jets just implode and just start winning out of nowhere, like crazy. They looked like a good team for the past two games, but watching them just lose this pick, this kid who has only been in college for 3 years. Obviously, he was a junior. Over 10,000 yards. He's at, 90 touchdowns, 90 passing touchdowns.
He's only ever lost 2 games. One being a national championship. Yeah.
I feel like his reign in the college college football is going to be remembered for a lifetime. He is truly an inspirational talent. I mean, you look at the quote, Curry, what an inspiration, but
Curry, man.
Trevor Lawrence, if he won against Ohio State, I was looking for Clemson to beat Bama. Obviously, I think we said this. We wanted Clemson to beat Bama. Now that he lost to Ohio State, he's now just ready for the NFL draft. He'll have I don't know if they're going to have pro days because of COVID. However, I think he's shown enough in his 3-year span with Clemson to
Big
say,
man needs a
listen,
pro day.
I'm here. You can't really, you look at Joe Burrow last year. Don't get me wrong. The kid was phenomenal with LSU. And he goes to Cincinnati, and you don't really hear from him. First overall pick, you don't really hear his name. He was in and out.
He was
One game
very
he'd have
quiet.
really good. Yeah.
He had a good year though until he tore his ACL.
Right. I mean,
That's sad. That's sad to see. Number
it
one
was
pick going down
yeah.
like that.
So that's something that we don't really have to. I'm assuming we're not going to have to worry about with Trevor Lawrence. Again, Joe Burrow had a really good year with LSU. He didn't have a chance at Ohio State or any of the other colleges that he was at. So being that he had a really good year at LSU, he proved himself in a year, right? And, the scouts from the NFL had to just take that year and be like, listen, he's really good. He's definitely a number one overall pick talent. But you look at Trevor Lawrence, and he's like light years past where Joe Burrow was in his draft. Yeah, exactly.
That's the difference between Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence. Joe Burrow had one standout year. Granted, great year. Personally, I think better than any of Trevor Lawrence's years in terms of stats. But that's one standout year. Trevor Lawrence has been up there. Trevor Lawrence has proved himself. He is one of the greatest college quarterbacks of all time. And, going forward, I feel like he's going to be a great NFL quarterback.
With the Jaguars. I mean, seeing him in that teal, seeing him in the in Jacksonville, it's going to definitely be weird because Jacksonville for the past few years, the only time they were really good was Saxonville, the 2016, I believe.
That was a solid team when Jalen Ramsey really blew up.
Yeah. That was that whole team. I mean, Blake Bortles was at the helm, I believe.
Yep, I think it was. Blake Bortles.
You look at that team, and they really, it was the defense that really stood up. And they always say defense wins championships, but you need someone to score points.
Yep.
And this guy is a winner. He's been a winner since he joined Clemson, and he's going to be a winner till the day he dies. I mean, the kid is really a talent that I'm excited to see in the NFL. He's not only got an arm, he's got great legs. So he's going to be moving, scrambling quarterback. And Jacksonville really hasn't had that. They had Blake Bortles and Nick Foles, who are two people that really kind of are just pocket passers.
Shift over to Gardner Minshew, who's about
Gardner Minshew.
The same thing.
He was listen, he had a great start to his Jacksonville reign, but you look now and it's nothing. There's a reason why they have the number one overall pick.
Yeah, exactly. They're 1-15 for a reason. But what does excite me is that they have a nice young receiver in Laviska Shenault Jr.
Right.
He's a pretty quiet name right now, but I think with the right quarterback throwing to him, he's going to do really good things.
Right.
Because he put up solid stats this year as a rookie. Not exactly rookie of the year contention because there's players like, Justin Jefferson and, all that. But I think that they have potential to go far in the long run.
I agree.
Maybe not next year or the year after that, but in the long run, if they learn to work together, it's going to be a real good team.
I agree. I think that Jacksonville will step up with their pieces that they have now and with the addition of Trevor Lawrence. I really don't see anyone else going number one. I mean, you could have thought maybe Trevor Lawrence wanted to tank that last game, maybe get his draft stock a little lower, drop to the Patriots who would want to maybe pick him up. But I really doubt that the Jacksonville Jaguars are that dumb to pass up on Trevor.
If somebody takes Justin Fields number one overall, I will literally, I'm saying it right now, I'll throw my TV out the window. Not because I don't want it to happen. It's because
it would just be that shocking.
It's that dumb. Like you're that stupid for real.
Right.
But I think it's time we shift off the Trevor train. We've been on his back for the past for the past 2 weeks. Sorry to give him a break. Let him rest. All right, we're gonna talk some NBA basketball. Steph Curry is back with a vengeance, man. He is back.
62 points.
62 points.
62 points. Like, what?
That's crazy. That is inhumane.
This is his career high. And for a guy who only shoots threes, kind of shocking that 62 is his career high.
He's good. He's a good player.
He made his comeback. I mean, the Warriors are in a rough spot right now. They started the season really poorly. They don't really have their key pieces. Klay Thompson's out. They lost Kevin Durant 2 years ago to Brooklyn. I mean, all they got is Steph Curry and Draymond Green right now, and maybe James Wiseman, Andrew Wiggins here and
I
there.
wouldn't even call Draymond Green something to have anymore.
Dude, the game that Steph had 62 points. You know how many points Draymond put up?
1.
A single point.
Yes,
And
sir.
he played 23 minutes of basketball?
23 minutes. But hey, man, you do what you're supposed to do. I think he got a lot of rebounds, though. So,
I mean, listen,
don't
get me
Rodman
wrong.
type game.
Yeah, he had a stat line from Dennis Rodman's era, but come on.
It's a new
1
game.
point, you got to help the guy out. Steph literally carried the team on his back that game. And he's been carrying the team for the past 2 games, 3 games, 4 games. The entire season he's trying to hold this team up.
I saw a stat, and it reminded me of a long time ago because it said, like, you guys hear Steph Curry and Draymond Green combined for 63. Steph Curry had 62 and Draymond had 1 and all that. It reminded me of the one time Kobe Bryant and Kwame Brown combined for 82.
Right.
Kobe Bryant had 81. So that I look back at that and I laugh.
It's truly, I mean, like the commentator said, Curry, man, inspirational. Like
inspirational. Love to see it. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that Steph Curry is the best shooter of all time.
I agree. I mean, him, Ray Allen are the best 3-point shooters I've ever seen in my life. I have to give the edge to Curry because he can literally heave anything up and it'll go in. The bucket is literally the ocean for this man.
Exactly. It gets cash. I've never seen anybody shoot better than Steph Curry.
I don't think he has, like, he could shoot from anywhere and anyhow. His arms could be behind his back and he'll make it. Yeah. I don't understand.
It's weird. It's weird because you look at the Wilts and the Jordans, and you don't really see many best of all times in any categories anymore because all the old heads are like, these are the real GOATs. Steph Curry, plain and simple, is the best shooter of all time.
I agree.
And you can't disagree with the stats that he's put up, what he's won, what he's done with the Warriors. You can't disagree. He's the greatest shooter of all time, plain and simple.
And at the moment, it's sad to say it, but he's not even considered the best point guard in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
There are so many other great talents. I mean, don't get me wrong.
I would consider him.
Listen, he's up there. Don't get me wrong. He's probably the best shooting point guard, but you have so many other talents. Like you have the rookies coming up with Garland and you know,
Damian Lillard and all that.
I mean, you have Lillard who's leading the charge over in Portland, and he's incredible right now. You know, and you have James Harden. I know he's not a point. He switches back and forth between point guard and shooting guard. So
big
it's
guard.
like
he's a big guard.
So like he's averages like triple doubles almost every game. I mean, the one guy who's averaging triple doubles is Julius Randle. But that's beside the point. But again, Steph Curry right now with his 62-point game, he's definitely something to watch out for. But I don't know if it really makes a difference for the Warriors. I really don't see them going far this year.
He is the Warriors.
You look at the Warriors, the first name obviously you think of is Steph Curry because he's the only guy right now who's making a big difference.
Yeah, Steph Curry, again, obviously the greatest Warrior of all time, I would say.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Chris Mullin was literally at my parents' wedding. And Steph Curry is head over heels better than that man. 100%.
You gotta get a picture of that. There has to be a picture somewhere in your house of Chris Mullin.
I don't think there is, honestly. He was not the big focus, but my mom was actually cool with Chris Mullin back in the day.
That is amazing.
Yeah, he grew up in Brooklyn. Cool dude.
Oh yeah.
Never met him, but my mom said he's a cool ass dude. Pretty good at basketball, she said.
I would assume so.
He's all right. He's cool. Steph Curry, though, obviously the best Warrior of all time. I believe, again, one of the best shooter of all time.
Oh yeah.
But the Warriors are literally too ass. And to put it in a blunt term, they're just too bad, man. Like
he has no help.
He's got nothing. It's Steph Curry show.
Literally. I mean, you look at a Warrior game, you're not expecting to watch Andrew Wiggins put on an absolute dominant performance.
Honestly, you can't count him out though.
No, you can't. Listen, during that game,
solid season.
During the game where he got 62 points, Steph, Andrew Wiggins had, I think, 23 points.
Yeah, not a bad
I mean, No, I mean that's some support for Steph. They won the game by I think they won with 137 points. So obviously people did help, but he almost had half of the team points.
Mm-hmm.
So literally, and then you have almost half of the other team points came from Andrew Wiggins. He had 23. The rest was like whatever it was, 60 something or 70. So he's already either a quarter or half of the Warriors' points besides Steph. So it's, that game was truly a well-rounded performance from Andrew Wiggins because Steph needed it. But you look at other games when Steph is out, or Steph doesn't have a 62-point game performance.
It's a dumpster fire.
It is horrible to watch the Warriors. Yeah. I hate to say it, they're worse than the Knicks right now. So it's
exactly. That's why I can't see them going very far this season. I don't see them making the playoffs.
No, I was like,
unless Clay is Clay set to come back this year?
I don't think so. He got injured again during the when he was trying to come back.
Yeah,
so it's really, Clay, when he comes back, I hope the Warriors can at least push for a playoff berth.
And that's if he's the same player.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he could be a completely different player. He might just be a role model. He might not even be coming as a starter. He might be coming off as a bench player. But
yeah, you never know, man. It all comes down to come back. Klay Thompson, the future for the Warriors.
You definitely want to see the Splash Brothers back, though, together.
Very true. Very true. They were fun to watch. Obviously, didn't really like them at the time because they kept winning all the time. Pretty boring, but
right.
You'd want to see them back.
Right. I mean, it's definitely it hurt to watch Klay go down because, you're thinking Steph didn't have him last year because of his injury in the finals 2 years ago.
Yep.
So it was tough to hear, he's making his comeback. He's going to be comeback player of the year. And then during practice to get warmed up for the season, he gets hurt.
He tore his Achilles?
I believe that's what it was. And
that's no fun, man.
It was.
That's what kept KD out.
Exactly. And now, you look at the Nets. KD's got COVID. The Nets really aren't the dominant powerhouse that everyone wanted we're saying they're going to be. To be honest, the best team in New York is the one in the Garden.
The Knicks, let's go.
I mean,
Julius Randle is the spawn of Christ. Let's go.
Austin Rivers goes off looking like Tracy McGrady.
Let's go.
Quarter.
I love Knicks basketball again. This is great. I can be a proud Knicks fan for the first time in my life.
I literally listen. They're actually not only just one game over 500. They're 2 games over 500.
They're 2 games over, baby.
You wouldn't believe it if I said coming into this, dude. They have something. This isn't even on our sheet to talk about, but they are right now something to be inspired by. They are just like we said it last week. They're a band of misfit toys.
Yeah.
That came together. RJ is becoming the leader. Julius Randle is the big man that we've been looking for. Mitch Robinson finally doing rather than just being the skinny body doing putback dunks. He's playmaking.
He's making
and
plays,
Austin
man.
Rivers,
Austin Rivers kind of found his footing. It took him a while. He's old. Well, he's not young. He's not young.
Yeah, he's not like the spry of like the team, but he's definitely.
But he's found his footing, and we enjoy that.
He said he wants to be in the limelight. He wants to be at a place where you rebuild. He wants to play in the Garden, the mecca of basketball. He wanted to be there, and now you see what he's doing. And now that 14 points.
We finally picked a young, promising rookie in Obi Toppin. Our first, I feel, actual good pick. Take away RJ Barrett, our first good pick since Porzingis.
Right.
We're building up a young core. Obi Toppin and RJ is something that's gonna, not want to be messed with in a couple years' time.
And then not only that, Emmanuel quickly, he's gonna find his footing.
He's solid. And I did my research. I was wrong. He did get drafted he was a first round pick.
Yeah, because I remember the Knicks had too.
He was like 25th.
Yeah. But
we traded
Emmanuel quickly, Obi Toppin, Mitch Robinson, RJ Barrett, and Julius Randle. That sounds like a dangerous starting 5.
It's a good team. Yeah, we just have to hope injuries don't
rid us.
Don't crowd us, and then we'll be good. We can sneak in the playoffs maybe.
Possibly. Hey, listen, playoff basketball, you gotta love it. And who knows? By the time of May comes around or June, whenever playoff basketball starts this year, we could have fans in the stands. I mean, we don't know.
The Breakfast Nook takes on NYC.
Dude, we'll have the podcast in the game.
During the game. Exactly.
But speaking of NYC, it is so finally. I am so finally proud to be a Mets fan, man. We made a move. Francisco Lindor and Carlos Carrasco coming for dirt cheap.
That was a good move.
To the Mets. Oh my God. In the beginning of the offseason, I was listening. I'm like, Lindor, okay, possibility. Our main focus, Springer, Bauer, that's really it. Lindor was kind of on the side burner. Obviously, I would love to have a really good shortstop in Lindor. He wants out of Cleveland. We talked about it last week. He was like, we were saying possible landing spots. And I think you even said, I see him coming to the Mets. And you could be called Mystic Chris at this point. Like you said, he was coming to the Mets. And the trade that they made, giving up Rosario, Jimenez, two shortstops that are young. Don't get me wrong. They have a lot of promise. And then two prospects that, to be honest, I've only heard of one of them. But to give up that and then not only just get one player, but also get a really, really dominant pitcher when he's on in Carlos Cookie Carrasco, it blew my mind.
Yeah. Just saying, the Yankees rocked Cookie Carrasco in the playoffs last year.
So. That's one guy.
Yeah, that's cool. But anyways, besides that, that was a really good move. Steve Cohen is going to be good for you guys.
Uncle Stevie made the biggest move. Now, the Wilpons wouldn't have the balls to do that.
Yeah, very true. I agree. So, they picked up Lindor and Carrasco. I called it. What can I say? I'm just the best. But as a Yankees fan, obviously hurts because I would have loved to see Francisco Lindor in the navy blue and white pinstripes. But I just want the Yankees to make a move, man. I just want to – can we sign back our players? Can we sign DJ?
You guys haven't done anything. I'm sorry.
We picked up this one outfielder from the Padres.
That's it.
I don't know who that is. Greg Allen or something. Some weird name like –
But, to be honest, what do you need in the outfield?
Nothing. Well, yeah, we lost Brett Gardner. But,
that's it. It
needed to happen eventually.
But, the Mets not – it's so funny because, you're a Yankees fan. I'm a Met fan. This is new to me. This is all new to me. I never get this. The last big signing or trade that we made was Curtis Granderson and Yoenis Cespedes in 2015, 2013.
Yep.
So we never get this. So 5 years, now we're 6 years later.
6 years coming, yeah.
And not only that, we obviously want Springer, but he's looking for $175 million. The fans are kind of turning on Bauer. They're kind of iffy. They're like, we don't need him now. We have so many role players in that rotation.
Bauer wants to come to New York. That's what I'm hearing.
Listen, and he got he posted on Twitter yesterday. He put the interesting with the eyes.
Interesting with the eyeballs. I saw that.
Come on, that could be big. And then not only that, we are in trade talks with the Cubs to get Chris Bryant.
Yeah, the Mets. Steve Cohen. No, not the Mets. Steve Cohen is making moves. He wants to win. He's putting himself in win now mode.
I've never been so happy to be a Mets fan.
Oh yeah, dude, the Mets are going to be dangerous this year, no doubt.
Second highest payroll. We stepped over the Yankees, and now we're right behind the Dodgers in the highest payroll. Now again, the Dodgers finally won a World Series, so good for them. They were the highest payroll in all of MLB for the past 6 years.
Kershaw deserved it.
Kershaw finally got his ring. The Yankees haven't won a World Series since 2009. They were the second highest. We all know this.
We don't need the slander here. Chill out.
I'm just trying to put out the payroll honestly doesn't matter. Just because we paid more for players, look at what the Rays did this year. They literally played statistical baseball. They got to the World Series with the lowest payroll in all of MLB.
And then they got mollywopped.
Absolutely killed. Don't get me wrong.
They got mollywopped by the Dodgers. It was not close.
Yeah, but listen, the payroll doesn't. Yeah, they got killed. The payroll won't matter unless there is an actual proof in the pudding on the field. True. That's all I'm saying. The legitimate World Series contenders, I don't know yet. I want to say playoff bound. I definitely think that the only stepping stone that the Mets have in the NL East right now is the Braves. The Miami Marlins, they made some moves last year, obviously the bottom feeders as they were called, but I think right now the one thing that they need to hurdle is the Braves. The Braves and the Mets have been having this hard battle every year, and every series ends up going to the Braves because the Mets just end up losing in the final innings.
Now, see,
But
I don't know. I think this is a tactical move by Steve Cohen in the sense that they didn't really need Francisco Lindor on the Mets as
they just
much
needed
as
him away from
exactly they needed him
yeah.
away from Atlanta because that takes away one of their top guys.
Yeah.
I think it was Acuna, Lindor. Or no, never mind. Freeman, Acuna,
Albies, Lindor.
Albies, Lindor.
Yeah. And
And
especially
that's
the Braves have been literally sneaking and picking out every player the Mets have been wanting for the past 4 years. Every time the Mets are interested, okay, New York is interested. I want to be interested now. I think we want to step in and kind of like make a move.
It's tactical baseball.
It really is. And Steve Cohen finally landed the big fish too. Listen, I think everyone's like kind of putting Carlos Carrasco behind Lindor in this, but both of them are really, really good pieces for the Mets. I think having him in the middle of the rotation now is going to be huge.
Mm-hmm. I agree, 100%. In the long run, Mets are going to be a good team. Plain and simple.
I hope so. Yeah.
As for, the other team in New York, our future is uncertain because we're a bunch of idiots and we don't know how to sign people at all. So, yeah, the Yankees signed LeMahieu really bad. Plain and simple. Give the man a blank check, please. Blank check. Say write whatever you want. I don't care. Just sign the man, please. I'm begging.
That's a great way to end this episode
please.
Of the Breakfast Nook.
Please. Please.
I hope you guys all enjoyed. Hope you guys enjoyed week 2, episode 2. It was it's always fun to talk with Chris about anything with media, sports,
and vice versa.
This week politics,
And vice versa, my friend. Always a great time. I hope
appreciate it.
Everybody watching has enjoyed as much as we have. And other than that, Tom, you have anything to say? Closing words?
I'll say it. I said it last week. I'll say it again. Stay positive, test negative. I hope everyone has a great remainder of their week. We're on Saturday now, so I hope, this week coming up is a great week to, push you into 2021. Stay motivated.
Of course, stay motivated and stay positive. Test negative. Couldn't have said it better myself. All right, guys. Hope you had a fantastic time today. I'm Chris Rotondo.
I'm Tom Grady.
And we're signing off.